dangerous driving conditions, cars and trucks slipping and sliding. Ice on the roads making stopping impossible. High winds battering the west coast while the east gets drenched. Our weather team tracking it all.
Impeachment battle, the historic vote.
The House Judiciary Committee has voted articles of impeachment against the president.
The outrage from Republicans. Will there be a quick trial in the Senate or a longer one with witnesses? The president weighing in with his preferences.
Breaking her silence, Melania Trump, a champion of anti-bullying, now responding to President Trump's comments on teenage climate change activist Greta Thunberg. The White House defense this morning.
New details on the deadly shooting at the Pensacola Naval Air Station. The FBI uncovering chilling new information this morning. What the accused gunman posted on his social media accounts and how many rounds of ammo he fired before he was taken down.
And hacking horrors. The chilling invasion of privacy. Surveillance cameras taking over. Strangers peering into your living room, talking to your children.
No, put me down. Put me down, I have feelings.
And live streaming your life. The online trend that could be behind these recent cases. We'll tell you how to protect yourself right here this morning.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
And good morning. We have new developments on the impeachment front this morning, but we begin with a pair of developing weather stories.
Yeah, we've got two major storms we're tracking, one on each coast. In the east, there are weather hazards from the Gulf Coast all the way up through New England, including tornadoes in Florida and flooding and high winds in the northeast. Look at this cell phone video we got of freezing rain accumulating on cars in Lewisburg, West Virginia.
And in the west, a second storm system bringing heavy mountain snow to the Rockies and high plains there. Check out these vehicles slipping and sliding in Vail, Colorado. Forecasters are also warning of an avalanche risk. For the very latest on both of these systems, let's go right to Rob, who's in Philadelphia. Rob, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Whit. Still raining lightly here in Philadelphia, but the heavy rain is still yet to move through the Northeast. The U.S. right now smothered by two very large storms that are both moving pretty quickly. So let's go to it and show you what we're looking at as far as the radar is concerned. Heavier rain across parts of the Northeast. That's all rolling up into New England. And then another batch of rain coming back through the mountains. That will have to get through today as well. So a system that's coagulating, and we've got the severe thunderstorm watch that had already a couple of tornado warnings across parts of central Florida and a myriad of alerts across the Northeast, including flood watches, high wind warnings, and coastal flood advisories as this low on the coast gets cranked up. And on the backside of this, as you'll see here as we put it through time, the snow and the icy conditions will begin to accumulate later on this afternoon and through tonight, about 3 to 6 inches of that. But I think the bigger story, more widespread, is going to be the wind that comes in behind this. We will see winds gusting 20, 30, maybe as much as 40 miles an hour right through tomorrow morning. That West Coast storm is no joke. We'll talk more about that, guys, in just a few minutes. Eva?
All right, Rob, thank you. Now to that historic impeachment vote. President Trump pushing back after the House Judiciary Committee approved 2 articles of impeachment against him. ABC's David Wright is on Capitol Hill with reaction as those articles head for a full House vote. Good morning to you, David.
Good morning, Eva. President Trump is now all but certain to join a very exclusive club. Barring something extraordinary, he'll become the 3rd president in U.S. history to be impeached. But like Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton before him, it's also likely he will not be removed from office.
Judiciary Committee will come to order, a quorum being present.
After weeks of hearings and days of debate, the historic vote on articles of impeachment took less than 10 minutes.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye. Every Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee voted for.
No.
Every Republican against 2 articles of impeachment stemming from President Trump's effort to get Ukraine to dig up dirt on his 2020 rival, Joe Biden.
Today is a solemn and sad day. For the 3rd time in a little over a century and a half, the House Judiciary Committee has voted articles of impeachment against the president for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress.
Those charges now go to the full House for a vote expected Wednesday, then on to a trial in the Republican-controlled Senate. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, appearing on Fox News, pledged to work in total coordination with the White House on the impeachment trial, where the Constitution requires a 2/3 margin to remove the president. Republicans have hinted they'd like a speedy trial with no witnesses, one that would be over in a matter of days.
It's going nowhere in the Senate, but I really hope and pray the Senate will not just pick it up and dismiss it. America needs to hear from the witnesses, and we didn't get to hear from them here. This was a kangaroo court.
This has been a wild week.
The president says he'd like to hear witnesses too, but said Friday he'll defer to the Senate.
I'll do whatever I want. Look, we did nothing wrong. I wouldn't mind a long process because I'd like to see the whistleblower who's a fraud.
Impeachment aside, the president actually said this was a pretty good week for him. He had the re-election of his friend and ally Boris Johnson in Great Britain, a breakthrough in the trade war with China, and the Supreme Court agreed to hear the cases about whether the courts should shield the president's finances from scrutiny. But impeachment tends to overshadow everything else. Whit?
Yeah, the president called it a wild week, and no doubt another one of those still ahead. David Wright for us at the White House. Thank you. The next Democratic presidential debate scheduled for Thursday may not happen. All 7 candidates who are set to appear are threatening to skip the event rather than cross a picket line. The labor dispute involves a union representing 150 people who work for a food contractor for Loyola Marymount University, a site of the debate. The union says contract talks have been at a standstill for months now.
Overseas this morning, North Korea says it successfully carried out another, quote, crucial test at its long-range rocket launch site. The announcement did not specify what kind of missile was tested, but said the results would strengthen North Korea's strategic nuclear deterrent. The North has been pressuring the Trump administration over nuclear negotiations, which are deadlocked.
Well, new details emerging overnight about the shooter in last week's deadly Navy base attack in Pensacola, Florida. ABC News has obtained a joint intelligence bulletin detailing some of what investigators have found out about the gunman since that attack. And Stephanie Ramos joins us with what we have learned. Good morning to you, Stephanie.
Eva, good morning. In that joint intelligence bulletin, various law enforcement agencies have detailed some of what investigators have learned about the gunman in the Naval Air Station shooting since the attack last week.
This morning, new details in the Naval Air Station Pensacola shooting investigation. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and DHS, revealing in one report that on September 11th of this year, shooter Mohammed al-Shamrani posted on his social media accounts the phrase, "The countdown has started." Other posts included references to non-Muslims as infidels and al-Shamrani also defending jihad.
The things that he talks about or references are textbook references of people who commit terrorist acts.
Here's what investigators say they've also found in the week since the lethal attack. The shooting lasted about 15 minutes. Al-Shamrani firing about 180 rounds from his legally purchased handgun with an extended magazine. During the rampage, Al-Shamrani fired at pictures of President Trump and another unnamed president. And a witness claims Al-Shamrani made comments critical of U.S. military action overseas as he was shooting.
He basically is saying the same thing that many terrorists before him has said, that the U.S. is the enemy because they attack Muslims overseas or they help other countries attack Muslims overseas, and that's their justification to attack us.
Over 10 patients confirmed.
Al-Shamrani opened fire last Friday in a classroom building at the Naval Air Station, killing 21-year-old airman apprentice Cameron Walters, 19-year-old airman Muhammad Haitham, and 23-year-old ensign Joshua Caleb Watson, all students at the Naval Aviation School. 8 others wounded in the gunfire, including 2 officers. Deputies later killing Al-Shamrani after a chase.
This morning, the FBI tells ABC News the investigation remains active. Agents are working to determine still if the shooter acted alone or if anyone helped him in any way. Now, the FBI continues to work with the presumption this was a terror attack. This way, law enforcement officials can use a wide range of investigative tools available only in terrorism cases.
Complex case and brave Americans killed in that attack.
Absolutely. Those families in mourning.
Yeah. Stephanie Ramos, thank you. We do want to turn now to the shocking murder of a college freshman. A 13-year-old boy has been arrested in the case, and the search is on for more suspects.
This morning, the 13-year-old suspect arrested in the horrific murder of Barnard College freshman Tessa Majors is being held without bail.
Those responsible, however many there may be, will be brought to justice.
The juvenile suspect, whose identity is not being released, was allegedly found with a knife just a few blocks away from the school. Police also found a trail of blood.
They have one in custody, and he is the storyteller, he's the narrator. And you get detailed information, and you see if that coincides with the physical evidence.
The 13-year-old is facing charges of murder, robbery, and weapons possession in Major's death. She was walking through a park Wednesday night when authorities say a group of suspects snatched her purse, then stabbed her multiple times. The teen suspect's aunt defending him to the New York Daily News, saying, "He didn't do this. My nephew did not do that." Detectives believe there may be as many as 3 individuals linked to the killing. The arresting officer testified the 13-year-old was not Major's actual killer, but claimed he picked up the knife and gave it to one of the other suspects. A 14-year-old suspect is also now being questioned. The Barnard campus community and Major's hometown in Virginia now mourning the death of the aspiring journalist and talented musician.
When you saw her, you knew that that's what she was meant to be doing. She was a great performer.
And authorities are still searching for that third suspect. Sources tell ABC News statements the 13-year-old made to police match what detectives saw on surveillance video from the park where Tessa Majors was killed.
Horrifying case all around.
Yeah.
Whit, thank you. We're going to move now to Kentucky, where lawmakers from both parties are calling for investigations into more than 400 pardons issued by Republican Governor Matt Bevin in the month after he lost his bid for re-election there. One of those pardons went to a convicted killer whose family raised campaign cash for Bevin. Among the people now rebuking Bevin, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Bevin denies that money or politics played a part in these pardons.
Now to the backlash over the president's tweets about 16-year-old climate activist Greta Thunberg, the first lady releasing a statement in the face of criticism over her silence while her signature initiative is anti-cyberbullying. ABC's Kira Phillips is at the White House with this story. Good morning, Kira.
Good morning, Eva. Well, the First Lady has made it very clear that her Be Best initiative is to promote kindness online and prevent cyberbullying against children. Quite a juxtaposition to the president's most recent rip on Time magazine's 16-year-old activist who was named Person of the Year.
Melania Trump's Be Best campaign aims to protect children against bullying and online harassment.
Be Best, an awareness campaign dedicated to the most valuable and fragile among us, our children.
But this morning, many people are asking, why isn't the First Lady publicly disagreeing with her husband after he attacked 16-year-old climate change activist Greta Thunberg on Twitter?
World leaders are still trying to run away from their responsibilities.
President Trump lashing out after the teenager was named Time's Person of the Year. So ridiculous, he tweeted. Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. Chill, Greta, chill. And he's done it before, taking aim at Thunberg, who has Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism, after her passionate speech at the UN.
You all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Trump's response then? She seems like a very happy young girl looking forward to a bright and wonderful future. So nice to see. Now, former First Lady Michelle Obama giving Thunberg a boost, tweeting, "Don't let anyone dim your light. Ignore the doubters and know that millions of people are cheering you on." So where does the current First Lady stand? The White House press secretary telling CNN the president and First Lady often communicate differently, as most married couples do. In the past, Mrs. Trump speaking out, saying she doesn't always see eye to eye with her husband.
I don't always agree what he tweets, and I tell him that. I give him my honest opinion and honest advice, and sometimes he listens and sometimes he doesn't.
Have you ever told him to put his phone down?
Yes.
Now, the First Lady has been quick to respond when people make comments about her own teenage son, Barron. But her spokeswoman says this is different because Barron is, quote, not an activist who travels the globe giving speeches. He's a 13-year-old who wants and deserves privacy. Now, as of this morning, I can tell you the First Lady's Be Best ornaments hang here on the White House Christmas trees, but she has yet to criticize her husband for mocking Thunberg.
All right, Kira Phillips for us at the White House. Thank you. The CDC says an estimated 2.6 million flu cases have been reported so far this season, and the outbreak continues to increase. The latest figures showing high or moderate flu activity in 22 states and Puerto Rico. 1,300 deaths have been reported. The CDC says it's not too late to get that vaccine.
That's important. It is not too late to get your shot. We do, however, have another medical headline this morning. The FDA just approved the use of a drug made from omega-3 fatty acid to reduce heart disease, stroke, and death in some patients. ABC's chief medical correspondent, Dr. Jen Ashton, is here with more.
Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Doing great. Tell us what this drug is.
So this is interesting. It's sold by the brand name Vascepa, and it is the first drug to be approved by the FDA as an adjunct to statin therapy. So when we said in some patients, that is the key. This is not for everyone to prevent heart disease. These for people with high cholesterol already on a statin. This drug is made with omega-3 fatty acids. It's unclear how the mechanism works to reduce the risk of stroke, heart attack, death from cardiac events. But this is potentially big news in the world of cardiology.
It's basically taken from fish oil.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are the risks here, and are there alternatives?
Absolutely important questions to ask. Anytime you talk about benefit, you have to ask about risks and then other options. Risks or side effects with this drug, really mild, but they can include bleeding, irregular heart rate, some musculoskeletal aches. The cost so far, wholesale cost $300 a month. We were in touch with 2 patients yesterday who said they're only paying a $30 copay. And then options. The American Heart Association recommends 2 servings of fatty fish per week. Things like cod, mackerel, oysters, even omega-3 fatty acids found in chia seeds. But they caution, and this is really important, Dan, the American Heart Association recommends people with high triglycerides, which is really what this drug is targeting, do not self-treat or self-medicate with supplements. Work with a healthcare professional.
Great advice. As always, Dr. Jen, we'll be back later to talk about those flu numbers. Appreciate it.
All right, well, moving now, Rob is on the road again with ESPN Game Day and the crew. And this week's matchup's a little different. It's the annual Army-Navy game. Hey, Rob, how you doing?
Hi, Eva, your old stomping grounds here in Philadelphia. As is the tradition, after all those championship games are over, the Army-Navy game takes place right here in Philadelphia, and it'll be right behind me at Lincoln Financial Field. Still a little bit of a mist falling here. Hopefully it will dry out before game time, but there are 2 storms that we've been talking about that are covering the country. So let's show you the one in the west. I-70 shut down for a time yesterday because of, you bet, snow in the higher elevations of Colorado, and we're still seeing that today. So weekend mountain snow could see another foot or 2, maybe 3. High avalanche risk, especially across parts of the northern Rockies, and wind threat too. We've got wind advisories are up from Southern California into parts of Arizona, and that winter storm warning continues, and that will get into the plains pretty quickly. This is a fast-moving storm, and by the time we get to tomorrow, it'll already be around Kansas City with an icy mix of snow and sleet, and into Memphis and Nashville, and by Monday morning, already reaching into the Northeast. So that could cause some problems in the way of wintry precipitation in some of the bigger cities there. That is a look at the snow forecast and rain forecast. Now it's time for a look at your local weather forecast. Here you go.
Well, hello and happy Saturday. Unfortunately, not the best start to the weekend. We will see a fair amount of clouds, and rain will be likely at least through the early afternoon. 50 degrees, so on the mild side. Tomorrow, sunshine finally returns. It will be breezy at times, but 50 degrees to round out the weekend. We will go the other way as we get into Monday. We'll have a morning weather alert, some morning wintry mix, snow, freezing rain, changing over to rain during the day. 39 degrees, back up into the 50s with showers on Tuesday.
The Black Knights and the Midshipmen taking it to the Army-Navy game here in Philadelphia. ESPN Game Day is here, as are we. Maria Taylor will be up in the next half hour to break down this game and the Heisman Trophy awards tonight, and of course the college football playoffs, all coming up on this Saturday edition of GMA.
All
Guys,
right.
back up to you.
I like it. Rob's fired up. Busy weather day, busy football day. We'll check back with you in just a bit. We do want to talk about this, though, for a moment. Another southern city facing a cyber attack. New Orleans city officials ordered all government computers shut down as a precaution after they detected ransomware in the system. So far, they have not received any ransom demands. Just last week, Pensacola, Florida computers were also attacked. Officials there say they have not yet decided whether to pay a reported $1 million ransom.